What if the secret to the ultimate, completely meltdown-free family day out actually relies on a rare 5-year jellyfish cycle, a $10 bill, and like a giant blue tarp?
I mean, it sounds a little crazy when you put it like
Huh.
that.
But welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking this massive stack of local planning documents, some historical records, and fresh visitor data. And our mission is to basically distill all of this into a foolproof family itinerary.
A psychologically balanced one, yeah.
Exactly. And we're focusing on a very specific laboratory for this experiment. We're looking at the Channel Islands Harbor in Oxnard, California.
Specifically, the landscape and updates for the week of April 13th, 2026.
Yeah, and if you've been following coastal developments at all, you know this harbor is undergoing this, like, massive revitalization right now.
Oh, it's huge.
It's essentially like taking what used to be a private VIP country club for boat owners and actively transforming it into a vibrant, open-source public square.
Right. It's keeping its classic, rugged, maritime soul, but fundamentally changing who the waterfront is actually built for. Totally. And, the goal today isn't simply to just hand you a localized list of places to visit. We really want to decode the underlying mechanics of this space.
Yeah. Figure out what makes it tick.
Exactly. We're going to explore exactly why this specific combination of natural cycles, local history, and, well, culinary access creates a perfectly balanced ecosystem for a family.
Because designing a day out that caters to the kinetic energy of children while giving adults some genuine cultural and culinary satisfaction, I mean, that is a profound logistical puzzle.
It really is. It's all about the sequencing of events, right? Understanding those cognitive transitions between unstructured play and focused, hands-on learning.
Okay, so let's unpack this sequence. Because every successful family operation has to start with one non-negotiable directive.
Burning off that morning energy.
Yes. If you skip this step, the rest of your carefully planned day is essentially doomed. So our itinerary begins at the north end of the harbor, specifically at the Seabridge community. You park the car, and you immediately hit the public harbor walk. It's entirely free, and it's this brilliantly designed pathway that naturally anchors two separate, fully equipped playgrounds.
Which is perfect.
Yeah, you just let the kids run wild, climb, and get the wiggles out in the fresh marine air. But the real magic of starting at Seabridge right now isn't actually the playgrounds.
No, it's the water.
Exactly. If you walk right along the water's edge, you are going to witness the return of the moon jellyfish.
Which is a truly spectacular biological event. I mean, moon jellyfish blooms in this specific harbor are not a daily or even a yearly guarantee.
Right, it's pretty rare.
Yeah, they operate on this mysterious natural cycle that brings them into these inner waterways roughly every 5 years. And the window to see them only lasts for a few months.
Oh, wow, so it's a tight window.
Very tight. It's driven by complex shifts in ocean temperatures, nutrient upwelling, and tidal currents that just, push these massive blooms closer to the shore.
And when you look down into the water, I mean, they look like these ethereal, pulsing, translucent umbrellas just gliding beneath the surface.
Yeah, it's a one.
It literally feels like you're observing an alien species right off the sidewalk.
And what's fascinating about this from a psychological perspective is how it leverages unscripted discovery.
Unscripted discovery.
Yeah. When we try to entertain children, our modern default is often to rely on manufactured, highly curated tourist attractions, places with flashing lights, loud noises, prescribed paths.
Right, like theme parks.
Exactly. But there is a very different, far deeper type of cognitive engagement that happens when a child leans over a public railing and spots a living organism pulsing in the wild.
It triggers a genuine aha moment.
Yes, their brain shifts from passive reception of entertainment to active, curious observation.
It feels like a secret they personally uncovered, rather than like a show they brought a ticket for. And once you've anchored the morning with that moment of organic discovery, you need to transition into something a bit more cooperative. So, you're going to rent a classic Surrey quad bike.
Those are great.
You can pick one up from Wheel Fun Rentals over at Marine Emporium Landing or from Henry's at Zachary Dunes. And a quick local tip for you, when you're asking for directions, the locals pronounce it Zachary Dunes.
Zachary. Good to know. And for those who might be unfamiliar with the mechanics of a surrey, it's essentially a four-wheeled carriage powered entirely by bicycle pedals.
Yeah, it's a workout.
It is. The entire family sits together on these bench seats under a fringed canopy, sharing the physical load of moving the vehicle.
And let me tell you, when you cram 4 people under the canopy of a pedal-powered carriage and every single person is pedaling at completely different rhythms.
Oh, it's chaos.
It is exactly like trying to drive a giant heavy shopping cart that has a mind of its own. It is incredibly clumsy. You will probably be laughing way too hard to steer in a straight line, but it forces everyone to work together
You're out in the sea breeze getting a panoramic view of the harbor architecture.
and bonding over the mild, hilarious chaos of just trying to make a simple U-turn.
But that physical exertion serves a very specific purpose in our sequence.
How so?
Well, you're transitioning the children from the wildly unstructured, individual play of the playgrounds into a focused, synchronized unit. The family is moving as one collective body. That physical teamwork perfectly primes everyone's state of mind for the next major phase of the itinerary.
Which requires a shift toward structured learning and historical context.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the educational core of our day. Once the family has pedaled themselves to a state of calm, it is time to weave in some profound maritime history.
Right.
The destination is the Channel Islands Maritime Museum, which is located right on the water and open Thursday through Monday from 12:00 p.m. to 4:00 p.m. And the sources highlight some genuinely mind-blowing artifacts inside.
Yeah, the collection is incredible.
They have original maritime artwork dating back 400 years. They house the Edward Marple's model ship collection, which are these hyper-detailed, scratch-built vessels where the rigging is perfectly scaled down using surgical precision.
It's amazing.
They even have a replica of Admiral Lord Nelson's coat from the Battle of Trafalgar.
The detail on those Marples models is just staggering, especially when you realize they were constructed using original shipyard plans from centuries ago.
Wow, really?
Yeah. It shrinks the massive, intimidating scale of naval engineering down to a size that a child can just look down upon and comprehend.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You want to take kids who just got off a chaotic, pedal-powered quad bike, right? Completely full of adrenaline, and you want to put them into a dead quiet museum filled with fragile 400-year-old paintings and tiny model ships.
I know, it sounds risky.
That sounds like a tightrope walk over a massive meltdown. How does this specific itinerary prevent a child from just getting incredibly bored and restless?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of museum curation, the secret lies entirely in tactile, interactive engagement.
Okay.
This itinerary works flawlessly because it refuses to leave the children as passive, quiet observers. The museum space here actively invites participation.
Oh, that makes sense.
For example, if you time this deep dive perfectly for Sunday, April 19th, you'll walk right into the 27th annual celebration of the Whales Festival.
Nice.
Yeah, which takes place directly at the museum from 11:00 a.m. to 3:00 p.m.
Oh, that drastically changes the vibe. I mean, it's completely free, and suddenly, instead of just staring at old canvases, the kids are on the ground making massive chalk art murals of marine life.
Exactly. There are interactive educational booths, live artists, food trucks.
It takes the quiet, intimidating vault of a traditional museum and just turns it into a vibrant, hands-on street fair centered around ocean conservation.
And that philosophy of active physical participation extends far beyond the museum walls, too.
Right, through the whole harbor.
Yeah. The harbor has built a robust infrastructure for youth programs. You have organizations like Real Guppy Outdoors located over at Fisherman's Wharf.
Okay, what do they do?
They regularly host free fishing days at the Hoinami Pier. And another local pronunciation note for you, the city is pronounced Wainimi.
Wainimi?
Got it. They also run this fascinating mechanical workshop every second Saturday from 11:00 a.m. to 1:00 p.m., where an instructor known as Uncle Dave teaches kids the actual engineering behind rod building and repair.
I love that. Teaching a kid the mechanics of how a fishing rod is built is essentially stealth engineering class.
It really is.
But, if your schedule doesn't align with Uncle Dave's workshop, the sources reveal the absolute ultimate parenting hack for this entire harbor.
Oh, yeah, this is brilliant.
You walk the family over to Hook's Landing at the Marine Emporium Landing Dock. For exactly $10, you can outfit a kid with a fishing pole and all the necessary tackle they need to drop a line right off the dock.
Just right there.
Yeah, $10 for an hour of profound concentration.
A $10 investment in that context is entirely transformative.
Totally.
You're taking a child who just spent the morning learning about the macro-level ocean ecosystem at the museum, and you're handing them the physical tools to interact directly with the micro-level environment beneath their feet.
They cease to be tourists just looking at the water.
Exactly. By dropping a line, they temporarily become active participants in the harbor's working ecosystem. It fosters this immediate, visceral sense of marine stewardship that you simply cannot teach from a textbook.
It is a brilliant psychological pivot, but as any parent listening knows, once you've successfully navigated the playgrounds, the jellyfish discovery, the Surrey bike, the chalk art, and the dock fishing, a biological countdown clock has officially started.
Oh, absolutely.
The kids are going to be starving, and if you do not have a robust, immediate refueling strategy, the day will devolve rapidly.
It's game over.
Exactly. So let's map out the culinary landscape, because it is surprisingly versatile here.
Yeah, the food infrastructure here is designed to accommodate both the immediate sugar needs of a child and the sophisticated palate of an adult.
Often within the exact same footprint, which is key.
Right.
So if you need a quick morning intervention, the local staple is Spud Nuts. They serve potato flour donuts.
Oh, those are incredible.
The science behind potato flour makes the dough lighter and crispier, holding the glaze perfectly. It is a guaranteed zero-complaint victory for any child.
And for the adults who are desperately seeking caffeine to maintain their pacing, Honeycup's coffee brewing is right nearby.
Perfect. But when it comes time for a sit-down lunch, the strategic move is to select an environment that provides ambient entertainment.
Yes, you want a space where the kids are visually occupied so the adults can actually complete a sentence and enjoy the meal.
So true. The sources strongly point to finding lunch with a view. Establishments like Topper's Pizza, which is engineered to be incredibly welcoming to energetic families.
Or Yolanda's Mexican restaurant.
Right. Or Fisherman's Catch. You just request a table right by the window, and the kids can literally watch the sailboats glide by or try to spot more moon jellyfish while they eat.
It's built-in entertainment.
But if we're discussing the absolute pinnacle of family food experiences in this harbor, all roads lead to Sunday.
The Channel Islands Harbor Farmers Market.
Yes. It runs every single Sunday from 9:00 a.m. to 2:00 p.m. over at Marine Emporium Landing. And this isn't just a pop-up. It is a decades-old local institution.
A total staple.
If you were taking notes on this itinerary, you have to look for the Williams family booth.
Oh, definitely.
Just stand at the edge of the market and scan the crowd for a giant blue tarp. Underneath that specific tarp, you're going to find legendary handmade fish tacos and ceviche that our sources confidently claim rival anything on either side of the Mississippi River.
It's that good.
I mean, the smell of the citrus and the grilling fish hits you from 50 feet away.
And, the bold claims about the flavor are entirely rooted in the proximity to the source. The freshness is undeniably the defining factor there.
It makes all the difference.
And that intense freshness leads to what might be the most unique educational moment of the entire day. Because just steps away from the farmer's market, over at the Suntex Marina commercial docks, local commercial fishermen are pulling their boats up and selling their catch directly to the public.
See, here's where the day ties itself together perfectly. These fishermen are selling massive box crabs that look like heavy alien armor, sea urchins with their spines still moving, and whole fish.
Yeah.
You can walk your kids right up to the edge of the dock and physically point to the boat that harvested the food.
Right there.
It's an incredible opportunity to get a child to eagerly try fresh seafood by letting them talk to the actual person wearing the heavy rubber boots who pulled that crab out of the ocean just a few hours prior.
The impact of that visual connection cannot be overstated. I mean, for the vast majority of children growing up today, the modern food supply chain is a complete black box.
Oh, totally.
Fish is conceptually understood as a perfectly square breaded stick that magically appears out of a cardboard box in the freezer aisle.
Right, it doesn't look like an animal to them.
Exactly. So seeing a commercial fisherman haul a live, snapping box crab onto a scale directly on the wooden dock completely shatters that manufactured illusion.
It really does.
It bridges the critical intellectual gap between the abstract ocean ecosystem they were learning about earlier and the literal, tangible food sitting on their plate. It is a masterclass in experiential learning, perfectly disguised as a casual lunch break.
And what's truly wild about analyzing these sources is that, as robust and perfectly balanced as this itinerary is right now, the harbor authorities are actively tearing up concrete and drawing up massive blueprints to make the future even more dynamic for families.
Yeah, big changes are coming.
Which brings us back to the enormous revitalization and the metaphorical open-source public square we mentioned at the very beginning.
We're looking at a fundamental, long-term strategic evolution of the harbor's core infrastructure.
The wrecking balls have already swung. They're completely transforming the area formerly known as Fisherman's Village.
Right, the old, outdated harbor administration building has been completely demolished to clear the canvas.
They're taking this aging, predominantly vacant commercial strip and replacing it with a massive project called Carl's Village. It was officially approved in 2025, and the heavy construction is slated to be completed around 2028.
And the architectural and thematic concept for Carl's Village is a drastic departure from traditional mid-century California harbor design.
Oh, it is radically different. The plans detail an 11-acre, German-inspired, strawberry-themed agricultural and maritime village.
Which, on the surface, placing a German-inspired strawberry village on the edge of the Pacific Ocean sounds almost like a geographical contradiction.
It sounds completely bizarre until you dig into the economic roots of the region.
Exactly.
Ventura County is globally recognized as one of the most prolific strawberry farming regions on Earth. Agriculture is the economic heartbeat of the area just inland from the water.
So it makes perfect sense locally.
Yeah. The Carl's Village model is actually adapting a highly successful European agritourism concept, Karls or Lebensdorf in Germany, and rooting it deeply into local soil.
Right.
The plans are entirely focused on a multi-generational family-first philosophy of eat, play, shop. They're building a massive central indoor market featuring handmade food experiences, sprawling outdoor playgrounds, and light family-friendly rides.
It essentially means the harbor is constructing a boutique waterfront theme park, but one that is fiercely tethered to the genuine agricultural identity of the surrounding county.
Exactly.
And the implementation of Carl's Village raises a really fascinating point about modern urban planning, specifically regarding how we utilize our coastlines.
How do you mean?
Well, historically, deepwater harbors have operated primarily as exclusive industrial hubs. They were walled off by private yacht clubs, gated marinas, and heavy commercial fishing operations.
Which can feel incredibly intimidating and unwelcoming if you're just a family looking for a place to walk and you don't happen to own a 40-foot sailboat.
Precisely. The visual language of those spaces said members only. But what Channel Islands Harbor is doing with projects like Carl's Village is deliberately pivoting the entire philosophy of the waterfront.
They're democratizing the shoreline.
Yes. They are transforming it into a highly accessible, multi-generational community space where the barrier to entry is virtually zero.
And you can see this commitment not just in the flashy future architectural renderings, but in the immediate unglamorous infrastructure updates happening right now under our feet.
You're talking about the parking lot and sidewalk improvements.
Yes.
Yeah.
It might not sound as thrilling as an 11-acre strawberry village, but for any parent managing the logistics of a family outing, this is the absolute most important detail.
Oh, absolutely.
Phase 1 of the improvements is currently tearing up and replacing the sidewalks, stretching from the Channel Islands Yacht Club all the way down to Barracuda Way.
And the primary driver for that specific construction isn't merely aesthetic beautification. It is a rigorous effort to meet and exceed modern ADA standards.
Which fundamentally changes who can comfortably experience the harbor.
Right.
If you're a parent pushing a heavy-loaded double stroller, or if you're visiting with grandparents who utilize a wheelchair or a walker, the entire waterfront is suddenly drastically easier to navigate. You aren't fighting cracked concrete or incredibly steep curbs.
It's just a smoother experience for everyone.
And crucially, Harbor Director Michael Tripp explicitly noted in the public plans that even with all these massive, multi-million-dollar commercial upgrades, the parking is going to remain completely free.
The sociological importance of that detail cannot be overstated.
Really?
Yeah. By ensuring the parking remains free, they are eliminating the most significant financial barrier to entry for local residents. It guarantees that the harbor remains a true public resource, a place where a family can spend the entire day enjoying the natural environment without it feeling like a paywalled premium attraction.
So if we pull all of these disparate threads together from our sources, the ultimate foolproof family formula looks exactly like this. You arrive in the morning and easily park for free.
Check.
You hit the pristine ADA-compliant Seabridge Walk to spot the rare 5-year cycle of the glowing moon jellyfish. You embrace the clumsy, cooperative chaos of a Surrey quad bike to burn off the kids' kinetic energy.
A must-do.
You hand over a $10 bill for a fishing pole on the dock at Marine Emporium Landing, transforming your kids into active participants in marine stewardship. You dive into the staggering, microscopic details of 400-year-old maritime history, maybe hitting the interactive celebration of the whale's chalk art.
Right.
And you cap the entire exhausting, beautiful day off by eating perfectly grilled fresh fish tacos under the Williams family blue tarp right after showing your kids the very fishermen who supplied the market.
It is a meticulously calibrated day. It balances gross motor movement with micro-tactile education. It blends authentic culinary experiences with unscripted natural discovery.
Yeah.
And it all takes place in an environment that is actively physically evolving to be more inclusive and welcoming to every single demographic of the family unit.
It is the absolute blueprint for a flawless day.
Yeah.
But, as we look toward the massive 2028 opening of Carl's Village, and really, as we observe historical waterfronts everywhere undergoing similar revitalizations, it leaves us with something pretty fascinating to ponder on our own.
Definitely.
As these rugged, authentic, working maritime hubs transform into highly curated, story-driven family destinations, how will that delicate balance between gritty commercial harbor life and polished themed attractions reshape the way the next generation understands our coastal communities?
That's the big question.
Will the glossy new strawberry-themed amenities overshadow the quiet, grueling work of the commercial fishermen weighing box crabs on the dock? Or will it successfully draw a massive new audience to appreciate that vital ecosystem?
It's a phenomenal tension, and it's a question that urban planners in every coastal city will have to carefully navigate over the coming decades to ensure these spaces don't lose their souls in the pursuit of entertainment.
Well, you will have to let us know your thoughts when you visit. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into crafting the ultimate family itinerary. Take these notes, grab the kids, look over the railings for those jellyfish, and enjoy the waterfront before the secret gets entirely out.
Safe travels, and keep questioning the world around you.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.